phone with my demon. He told me get rid of my feelings. I'm on the phone with my demon. He told me go work cause you're limitless.
Yo, welcome to D-Car Central. What is Burger Music? Squid the Kid. Let's go ahead and watch this shit. Make sure to follow all the socials. If y'all over the stream at some point. Join the Discord. Make sure to get faded. Let's do this. Shit's not good. Well, let me click stuff. I
Let's
don't
just
know
say
why
one day you wake up in the morning and you check your phone. All of a
Oh,
sudden you see
shit.
some guy on Instagram
Shit.
Reels laughing his ass off at some shitty music. Listen to the words he says. The Burger Music Sergeant! You might say to yourself, okay, yeah, that song's pretty bad, but what the hell does he mean by burger? Nowadays, it just seems like random ass words become slang and now they're just popular to say. And if you're not unemployed or you're just not as young anymore, it sounds like nobody's making sense anymore. Burger music, co-worker music, line cook music, NPC music.
I ain't never heard line cook.
Bong water
That's new.
music. Recently, these two words have been making the rounds on the internet and they're being used to basically make fun of trash, weird, or cringe music. Apparently for years,
I consider
burger was
Dax
used as a
burger
slang
music.
word in Detroit to call somebody
bad.
lame. You can thank Mac Danny for popularizing the words burger music and the word burger to make fun of bad music. If you don't know who this guy is, he blew up last year mainly from laughing at songs by a rapper named Dax, and plenty of other artists who just make corny, trash, or just straight up pieces of satire. Now, cringe compilations and making fun of people on the internet is nothing new. Even back in the SoundCloud days, there was a whole wave
Oh my
of
God.
cloud chasers blowing up on Instagram and hopping on the trend of being a
Forgot about
SoundCloud
him, bro.
rapper. And sometimes you
Oh,
didn't
yeah.
want to admit it, but it was kind of good.
Bitch, come my phone, she like blah, 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 blah. But I'm on the road, I'm like, nah, 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 nah.
But a lot of the time, they were
That
just
shit
making
was
some
ass.
bullshit.
Boom gang, 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 boom gang.
People like Boom Gang, Whoa Vicky, and Lil
Bro,
Tay
Boom
were
Gang
getting a
was
lot of
the
shit for the
OG
stuff they
YN.
put out there on the internet, even including their music. And even though that whole scene died years ago, the same kind of thing is still happening today. Except instead of people squirting lemons in their eyes on Instagram and then posting their songs on WorldStar, now people are just putting their songs directly on your
Jesus.
feed. Now, there's no problem with bumping underground rappers. I like me some underground shit myself. But it seems to be people are making shitty music on purpose to get attention. What do I mean? Well,
You're insane. You're in pain. I can tell by what you're saying, but my bad. Sorry. I forgot you were fragile, man. Oh my God. I can't believe this. Yo, I can't believe this. Yo, I cannot believe this. It's just
burger music is a part of a whole ass trend of hating on bad or corny music.
Oh, wait, no, like a whole nother level, bro.
In pop music, like some shit you'd hear in the grocery store or the mall, maybe even a Disney movie, and songs by YouTubers who want to try out making music.
Not Dream, bro. Get it off the screen. Yes.
By right-wingers that are paid to deliberately spread propaganda, or just straight up satire. Burger music, co-worker
Guys,
music,
Trader Fish is
all that
legendary,
shit
though.
is an insult.
He gets
I
a
feel like
pass.
out of all these examples, the pop music that's being pushed is not so bad in comparison to the other types of music people call burger or co-worker
Agree.
music. So let's start off with YouTuber music. For quite a while, there's been a lot of YouTubers who blew up and decided to go pursue music, either as a hobby and just something to do for fun, or a full-blown serious attempt at a music career. For example, back in the early 2010s, there were a lot of songs on YouTube that were parodies of real hit songs, but instead, they were either talking about video games like Minecraft or Call of Duty, or just making fun of the original song. But for the most part, these were just jokes. Not that many people were being serious about it, and it was pretty clear, so most of the people who came across this stuff saw it for what it was, and just laughed at it. But around 2017,
True that.
something different was happening. All of a sudden, YouTubers like Rice Gum, Jake Paul,
Oh my God.
iDubbbz, and more were putting out diss tracks addressing other people they had drama with.
Now, let's be for real, though.
People were
Rice Gum could low-key rap. Like, let's be honest, bro. Rice Gum low-key. He could flow. He was better than movies suspect.
genuinely getting a lot of success off of this, and Rice Gum went fucking platinum. Jake Paul, for example,
This one.
tried to pursue a whole ass music career after It's Everyday, bro, but it didn't really work out so well. Another YouTuber who's gone down the same path to pursue music seriously is KSI. Alright, look. You're watching this on YouTube. You know who KSI is. If you somehow don't, Google him real quick and come back to the video. Alright, after getting famous for gaming videos and becoming one of the most famous YouTubers from not just the UK, but the whole world in the 2010s, KSI decided to begin his music career. Even from the very start, he was making videos where he was rapping, including one.
Bro, I remember in 2018 when Quadeka dropped that diss track and absolutely fucking fried KSI, bro. That shit was legendary. Y'all know Ball if y'all know the Quadeka diss track.
But in 2015, he started taking it more seriously and dropped a song called Lamborghini. Even though it was his debut single, it did very fucking well. A lot of people were genuinely bumping this shit back then. The song peaked at number 30 on the UK singles chart. And for a time,
There's
it
no way
was
I picked a
unheard of
30,
for
bro. That's a
someone to go
lie.
from being a YouTuber to putting out real songs and officially releasing them. Me personally, I think KSI was decent on the song, but P Money's verse was actually fire. Even if he's not doing the most crazy shit on a song, the fact that KSI was doing music for real at all was out of the ordinary, and that was enough to catch everybody's attention. Keep in mind, this was like 2 years before that whole wave of diss tracks by those other YouTubers. He's low-key an originator, and he doesn't get that much credit for being one of the first YouTubers to test the waters of heading towards the music industry or just music at all. But I'm not finna act like he's perfect, though. He's definitely had his bad or just corny moments.
There it is, bro.
In general, YouTubers trying to do music has been looked at as tacky or obnoxious because of all the shitty songs Logan Paul and Jake Paul have put out into the world. But the reason for a lot of the hate KSI gets now on his music came from after just one incident. In 2024, KSI teamed up with Mr. Beast and Logan Paul to make a new business together. KSI and Logan Paul worked together in the past to grow Prime into a billion-dollar empire as a sports drink brand, so you'd think their business.
I'm not gonna lie, I used to drink Prime, bro. I know. It's crazy. Don't shoot me, but I used to drink Prime. Alright,
experience would make them
I
choose
did.
wisely what they decide to do next, especially with Mr. Beast on their side. But apparently you'd be wrong, because basically they decided to make an off-brand version of Lunchables called Lunchly. Look, this idea is retarded even from the start, but the way they hyped up this thing made it work. All this talk about it being somehow magically healthier than the real Lunchables when there was so much goddamn salt in this shit, and there barely being any actual nutrition in it had everybody looking at them sideways. And the promotional TikToks they made was making themselves look goofy. Let me say that again.
This is a
All the
straight
money in the
fucking
world these guys have,
disaster.
they didn't even make an official commercial. These motherfuckers made TikToks to promote this garbage. Only people who actually wanted Lunchly were the naive children seeing this stuff on their phone. And when they started selling Lunchly in stores, there was a huge problem. The shit had mold in it.
Oh my god, I never heard about that.
This whole Lunchly thing was a disaster. They were getting so much backlash from this, and nobody's trying to buy it anymore. This was fucking with all these guys' reputations. People were asking Mr. Beast to come out and say something, but he just went back into the shadows. Logan Paul was having an adult temper tantrum over crackers and cafeteria cheese, and KSI was the worst one of all. He was arguing with people on Twitter to try and convince everybody he's not the bad guy for co-signing moldy cheese and kids' meals. And then when TDM came on Twitter, they called him all
No,
doing this. KSI, who was 31 years
you know it's bad when
old
Dan
at the
TDM
time,
says
thought
something,
it
bro.
was a sure adult decision to beef with Dan TDM out of all people and try digging into his past to try canceling him or somehow one-up him on something. But it all fucking failed. The hate just got even bigger the moment he decided to go after Dan TDM, and people were on an all-out crusade against him. And right
Bro,
during
why
this
are we going against Dan
controversial point in his whole
TDM?
career, he dropped a new song with Trippie Redd. KSI putting out his song Thick of It right after that whole Lunchly situation, whether he realized it or not, led to him getting clowned by the whole internet. The timing was not so good. Him along with Mr. Beast and Logan
This was
Paul
a
were
terrible
getting a lot
time for
of shit
KSI.
complaining of a money grab, so the public was already not on his side. And when the song came out, even though KSI had worked with famous artists, made multiple albums, and it charted on the Billboard in the UK, good amount of people had no idea KSI had a music career. And this was his very first impression on a lot of people. Once you combine an audience that doesn't even like you or the genre of music you're making, along with the fact they all hate you right now, this is gonna lead to a disaster. Think of It was getting shat on relentlessly, but even his own audience was getting on his ass. People thought either this song is overplayed, I hate KSI right now because he's selling moldy Lunchables to kids, or once again, the song has the wrong audience and they think it's corny. So it was kind of a mix of accidental rage bait and people trying to shame
Shit,
KSI
right.
as a result of failing to read the room after that scandal. But I don't think he did this on purpose, because there were a few times where it looked like the hate was really getting to him.
So funny.
No,
What
I'm
you're
sorry.
saying is funny.
No.
It's my life funny. I'm entitled to my opinion. That's the thing. Everyone's saying I'm not allowed.
Well, there's the thing
Why
of
am I
like,
not allowed?
no, but
If someone comes at me, why am I not allowed to go back at him?
you're allowed.
Now you might be wondering, what the hell does the audience have to do with his music? Well, after the whole Lunchley situation, people haven't really looked at his music career the same. You could say he was able to come back from this controversy, but he's never been taken seriously as an artist ever since. The next wave of hate he'd get on his music would come
But who would
after
ever
Black
take him
Danny started
serious?
reacting to all his old songs. This is when people started calling KSI songs burger music. Thick of It itself kind of had stupid lyrics, but his delivery combined with the words of the song, in my opinion, make this kind of corny. And I do admit, yeah, it was overplayed as fuck. And in general, KSI is more on the pop side of music. There's always gonna be people shitting on pop music for being watered down or generic or not having enough soul in it. But if we're talking about his song Holiday, for example, it's actually okay.
Fly me away.
This is
Bro, why-
definitely the type of shit they play in Walmart, but it's
Why are we
actually
saying this is okay, bro?
Same thing with
It's
voice.
his ass.
I will admit, KSI is not that good at rapping anymore. He just kind of makes it sound corny.
Little boy trying to get involved. Come on then, let's get involved, you prick. Posh boy now wanna rap. Posh boy now wanna scrap.
I'm not one of those people who just hates on British rappers just because of the accent or whatever.
Bro, because they're fucking ass.
Dave too. Slick Rick is dope. 21 Savage, I fuck with him. It's just KSI can't really rap anymore. I cannot put myself through that shit with a straight face. And when it comes to his song,
Bro, it's a 35-minute video about burger music, bro. What the?
but I don't really like how he did on the song. It sounds like he just figured out what auto-tune is, and he's trying to do that monotone melodic rap shit that started in the SoundCloud era, which, if done right, can sound fire, by the way, but KSI doesn't do it right. The hook is so disappointing. In KSI's case, the reason he's hated so much is a mix of him making himself look bad, childish, egotistical, not being able to take criticism, and just making corny rap songs.
Yeah.
Alright, now this video is gonna get political.
That's it right
Last
there.
time I
That's the
made a
best way
video
to
about
describe
Dax
him.
calling him out on his bullshit, the comments turned into a war zone.
And you know what? That's just kind of what comes with talking about this stuff.
So let's go. Just like KSI, Dax is another guy who came up from that YouTube rap wave, but he wasn't exactly a YouTuber. And his story is much different than KSI's. Dax, who was born in Newfoundland, Canada, this is gonna be important later, got the confidence to start making music after a dude he used to play basketball with in college told him he was really good at making poetry. How he first got famous was a song about that Cash Me Outside meme back in 2017. This was right when that meme was just getting popular, and for some reason he put featuring Danielle Bregoli in the title. It got over 20 million views, and this was the first of many remixes he would make over the years. He did make his own original music though, but he was more well known for the remixes of popular songs and trends. Right when Dax was blowing up, he was becoming a part of the YouTube rap scene. Not the same type of shit as It's Everyday, bro, but there was kind of a little
God's not the
underground
same shit.
scene at this time. Rappers like Dax, Crypt, Quadeca, Token,
Yeah, Quadeca, bro. Token was tough too, bro.
and more were appealing to an audience that hated the new music that was coming out during the SoundCloud era. Back in the days when people used to unironically say mumble rap. At the time, people were bumping these guys' music, including Dax's, for the lyricism that they thought was missing from hip-hop. Instead of having a mainstream audience, these guys were getting numbers on YouTube to a smaller but still big enough audience to actually be technically famous. Back then, Dax still had some respect, but even before he got the reputation you know him for today, he's been called corny for years. KSI, for example, said this back in
But Dax
2018.
is something else.
There's Dax, but like,
I didn't know him. That's it.
I mean, but he's a poor man's Hopsin, and Hopsin is a poor man's Eminem.
And
So
Eminem
why
is
would-
a poor man's Kendrick.
And yeah, and Eminem's a poor man's
I don't
Kendrick.
think
So
that just seems
why
like-
would anyone want to listen to a poor man?
Okay, by the way, Eminem is not a poor man's Kendrick. Get the fuck out of here. Dax had a whole ass beef with KSI, putting out diss tracks against him, and this whole thing
That was a
did
pretty
have
interesting
lot of
take
attention
for
on him, but that didn't
KSI
come from
there.
KSI making fun of him on his channel. Even then, Dax was still doing alright, but at the beginning of 2019, this was all gonna change. Even though Dax wasn't really recognized by the mainstream and was only known in that YouTube rap scene, the fame got to his head. He was starting to get a big ego and he was talking shit behind his friends' backs. He started sneak dissing his rapper friends on the same song as them, saying they aren't good enough and I'm the GOAT. He was acting cool in his friends' faces, but really he hated the song they made together. During this time, he just started acting
Dax
very
thinking
general.
he's
He
the
was also
GOAT.
talking crazy, saying I'ma win a Grammy, I'ma win an Oscar. It's normal to have dreams, but Dax was talking like he's Kanye and like he wasn't only popular on YouTube. When people started realizing this, Dax's reputation started falling apart. Everybody was realizing how fake he really was, and his old friends he switched up on started dissing him back. The YouTube rap scene started hating his ass, and for the first time, Dax had some controversy on his name, and it was affecting his reputation. But when you think things couldn't get worse, Dax made his next mistake when he decided to diss Tory Lanez just because he was on Twitter saying he's
Yeah, that was the
this is pretty
that
normal
was the
shit for rappers.
worst
to say.
one.
I don't really know why he felt like specifically going for him. On his new song, I'm Not Joyner or Don Q, Dax was saying, if you have no substance, you can't be great. You got bars, but they hold no weight. Tory heard this and he didn't like what he said. And he just so happened to run into Dax outside a club. He pulls out his phone, started pressing him, and made him say sorry on camera.
Apologize, my nigga. Apologize.
I
Got you, bro. Apologize, nigga.
got you, man.
Say sorry, nigga.
My bad for the
Say
diss track,
sorry,
G.
nigga.
Sorry, G.
All right, bet.
I got you.
And the video got posted on the Instagram for everybody to see. This was Dax's first impression on a lot of people. Considering the fact he was only known in that
Thanks,
YouTube
bro.
rap scene, this was the first time a lot of mainstream fans ever heard of him, and it was in the most embarrassing way possible. He was talking crazy on that song, but when he saw Tory in public, that was a whole different story. After the incident, apparently Dax went on No Jumper and was trying to lie and say, oh, Tory jumped me. But Tory shut down those rumors pretty quickly and pointed out how Dax was just trying to make himself look better after getting embarrassed publicly. Dax had to take the fall for this one, and this whole Tory Lanez situation had him noticed by mainstream hip-hop, but for all the wrong reasons. He started being known as the guy who said sorry to Tory Lanez, as Nav said. Around this time was when Dax started being seen as corny. In the middle of all this controversy, maybe you'd think he'd be careful with what he does next, but it turns out he was out here scamming fans for $200. He was making up excuses for not doing features even though they paid him to do so. And only after getting backlash from this, he finally went and refunded the money, but it was too late. Because around the same time, he got exposed for stealing a Lil Peep verse the year before. At the time this happened, this was only months after Lil Peep died. Originally, Dax didn't give a fuck about the song until he figured out Lil Peep was blowing up. Then, he begged to get on the song and paid $6,000 to get the feature. He then asked for the files to the song, stole them, kicked everybody else off the song except for Lil Peep, got a new beat, and put himself on the song. He even went to the trouble of putting random videos of Lil Peep in the music video for a
that's
song
crazy.
he didn't even know existed, because he wasn't alive anymore. Getting into controversy every month back to back for 3
Oh, that
months was
sucks.
doing so much damage to his reputation. By 2019, he was getting backed up into a corner, and the YouTube rap scene was dying off anyway. Speaking of, let me address those guys real quick. Luke is gone. Crip, Futuristic, fucking whoever the fuck made Death the Mumble Rap 2. All of y'all just sound like Eminem wannabes. Y'all wanna be Eminem so bad. Y'all are so focused on rapping fast, but I don't even know what the hell you're trying to say. You're not even fully enunciating your words. All of y'all sound like
So true. So true.
Listen to this song that Lucas Gone actually made.
Together with Tech and now we met up at electrified. I reckon every time that we at your rhyme, I reckon they recognize, never gonna rise. I'm a level, I'm 5 times better with a finish rim, and I'm gonna get a minute, center, scope, do.
See what I mean? Not surprised your career ain't gonna last too long off of hating on mumble rap so goddamn much. Yo, out of all reasons for these guys to hate on modern hip hop, y'all ain't even bringing up the only valid point. The only valid point that old heads have about modern hip hop is the whole, oh, they commercialize hip hop into talking about less conscious topics and, like, you know, talking about this stuff. That's true and all, but none of these Eminem wannabes even talk about that. None of these people, Crypt, Gone, whoever else, they never bring that shit up. Ironically, the same motherfuckers who were shitting on SoundCloud for not having substance in their songs weren't talking about shit either. Back to the video. After Dax pissed off everybody he knew in hip-hop, he was at a crossroads. Either fade away into obscurity and be forgotten, or somehow have a comeback. He decided to get back up and get his career going again, but he had to think of a plan. Since he knew for a fact that nobody else in hip-hop liked him anymore, he chose to start pandering to a different audience. Let's just say he became a right-wing grifter and started making music for that audience. A right-wing grifter is someone who goes out of their way to publicly support Republicans or conservative ideals while they don't give a flying fuck about any of that, just to make money off the audience that comes from supporting politically extreme views. These grifters will entertain prejudice that a bunch of conservatives in America secretly have but don't want to admit it. They will manufacture outrage in the eyes of right-leaning people by pushing terrible stereotypes about marginalized groups, frame progressive people or politicians as quote-unquote woke leftists, and they create this whole perception of America or Christianity or anything and everything else traditional being under attack when none of that's real. All these people who genuinely believe in that type of stuff will fall for it and eventually support them for entertaining their delusions. Fox News does this shit all the time. Tucker Carlson, who was one of the main reporters on Fox News for nearly 15 years, admitted in private that he didn't even believe what he was saying on there. This is exactly what Dax does nowadays. And over time, he was changing his entire image, music, lyrics, and flow to appeal to an audience of mostly white, middle-aged conservatives that don't listen to rap like that. These are the type of people to say, well, I don't listen to rap, but there's this guy. This audience is disconnected from mainstream hip-hop, so they had never heard of him before. And they don't know about none of that shit that made him so hated in the first place. Dax knows this, and he started putting so much focus on pandering to these people. But the change wasn't instant. Around the end of 2019, he started making more religious music. Now, there's nothing inherently wrong with making songs about God or religion or whatever, but it's the way he was moving. Looking back, this was Dax's first step into that direction. He was still rapping about his usual topics like he did before, but I will admit around this time was when he started making himself more corny. In his music videos, he started over-exaggerating his movements, wearing goofy costumes, being extra as fuck, rapping with this weird-ass voice that sounds like this. You're in pain, you're insane, I can tell by what you're saying. Get the fuck out of here with that shit. Heat the beat, this is literally what he sounds like on this one song.
Be the beat, you know I'm about to feast. Stock my prey and calculate its feet. Pounce and chase and grab it with my teeth. Rip it limb from limb, unleash and then repeat.
And there's just been plenty of moments in his videos that make you want to say, what the fuck?
In the scope with a red dot on your head top. Have you looking like a real red nose?
Hold on, whoa, wait. What the fuck is that, bro? Dax, what the fuck is this?
Whoa, wait, no, what the fuck am I looking at? What am I looking at? What the fuck?
What?
What am I looking at?
Yeah.
Fuck the song. What is
Dax, bro, what are we doing?
I'm familiar with
What are we doing, Dax?
but whatever the fuck you got going on is terrifying, bro.
This was probably when people started calling
That's actually uncanny.
It seems Dax was trying to appeal to some Eminem fans with the way he was rapping and all those goddamn Rap God remixes. By 2021, he just fully shifted to the right. He wasn't trying to hide it anymore. Dax started associating himself with people such as Tom McDonald and Adam Calhoun, who are infamous for being right-wing grifter rappers or MAGA rappers. Yes, this is an actual subgenre that exists. Dax got on a song and said, quote unquote, "I'm not that mad at the past. I mean, it was only a couple of centuries." I am not joking.
I'm not that mad at the past. I mean, it was only a couple of centuries.
Dax, who is a black man, said he's not mad at slavery because it happened 200 years ago. This is what I mean by right-wing grifter. There's no way in hell this dude actually believes that. Because 3 years before that song, he made a whole nother song about Black Lives Matter where I'm sure he shows his real feelings about this topic. He went from saying this for Sandra Bland, George Floyd, and every single family police brutality has intervened in and destroyed. So let's all come together, join hands, and yes, get annoyed at people who believe racism makes sense in a
This man is a trend hopping bandwagon. Thanks.
country built off minority slave work employed, basically addressing racism against black people. And then later on, he would pander to the very people who are racist to black people. And he went further into appealing to a more right-wing audience with songs such as Dear Alcohol. It's a country style song about alcoholism, and again, there's no problem with addressing shit like this through music. I'm okay with people talking about alcoholism. Swimming Pools by Kendrick Lamar is dope. But the thing is, throughout the entire song, Dax is using a fake southern accent when he is from Newfoundland, Canada. This man's LARPing as a country boy from Georgia when he's from Canada. And the way he promoted the song on TikTok in contrast to the serious topic of being addicted to alcohol just comes off as unauthentic as fuck. You can definitely promote your music on social media even if it's a serious topic, but there's better ways of going about doing this. Come on. Dax slowly went from being one of those YouTube rappers who made diss tracks to becoming a right-wing grifter over the next few years. And over the years, he's embraced the corniness, and he keeps doing corny shit on purpose, and he basically does this humiliation ritual in order to go viral, saying things that he doesn't agree with just so he can appeal to the racists who hate his own race. This is the definition of selling your soul. The lengths he goes to just go viral is insane. I don't know what's worse, completely falling off for this shit. Dax has gotten most of his fan base he has now from this scheme he's been pulling for the last few years. He became absorbed into the small Republican rap bubble of Canadian grifters who pander to American right-wingers. And another person who's a part of this same subgenre is Tom McDonald. This man has done the same exact shit as Dax, but the difference between them is Tom's not black, and he's been doing this grift years longer than him. Back in the 2000s, he was apparently trying to get into the WWE because he was doing professional wrestling matches all around Canada on the independent circuit. It didn't really go so well though, and he got injured a lot, which led to him ending his wrestling career in 2009 after going at it for 6 years. Around the end of his wrestling career, he started making music around 2007 and 8. Good amount of his early music is lost media now, but the first available project on the internet is an album called Creature from the Rap Lagoon, where he kind of has a Limp Bizkit influence where he's rapping over rock beats, but sometimes uses auto-tune. And then he went through multiple different genres trying to rap over different types of beats, experimenting with different sounds. And keep in mind, this guy used to not be political at all. In 2014, this man was making trap music.
Trap music.
Only around 2017 did
Sound like a G-Eazy Clinton, bro.
looking like some bacteria with them braids. And out of all people, I think this dude might actually believe the shit that comes out of his mouth, because apparently he came from a more conservative family that was focused on American politics for some reason. That doesn't make what he says any better though, and he's still a Canadian LARPing as a fake American. I really don't need to go that in depth on his career path, because it's a lot like how Dax got popular among the Republicans. He basically went from making his original type of music and barely getting any attention in 2014 to pivoting to the right-wing stuff around the same time Ben Shapiro and the rest of those guys were popping off. Tom was blowing up off of songs like Dear Rappers, White Boy, Politically Incorrect, Everybody Hates Me, Straight White Man. Let me do this again. Straight White Man. basically one of those people that hated on feminism and pretended like straight white men were under attack in 2016 and put all that bullshit into a song. All he raps about is Republican talking points like, oh, people are too woke, and yapping about cancel culture, saying all this shit about the government is corrupt and being anti-establishment, all while supporting Donald Trump and other people who were in the Epstein files, entertaining a white victim complex that a bunch of Republicans have, even though they face no form of oppression in America, basically doing the same shit that the conservative media does. Fabricating a false worldview of straight white Christians and insert whatever traditional thing being under threat from the quote-unquote woke mob. Having all these people fight a culture war while distracting them from the fact you're raking in all this cash from them. And ironically, he's gone out of his way to say mainstream hip-hop has no substance anymore, and they rap about drugs, and they use auto-tune, blah, 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 when he was doing the same shit in his old music. He's been going through this same cycle over and over again for the past 9 years while slightly updating what he says to fit the current times and events that happen. For example, making a song called No Lives Matter in 2020 as a response to Black Lives Matter getting popular after George Floyd died. A song about Donald Trump and that fake-ass assassination attempt in 2024. A tribute song to Charlie Kirk after he died 2024. And another one which got turned into a meme.
Wait. The Trump assassination was 2 years ago already. What the fuck? Holy shit.
They always said that Charlie Kirk was a Nazi, then they celebrated after they killed him. They tried to tell us that Black Lives Matter and that white people have always been villains.
And after years and years of putting out more of these songs into the world, he's become established in this weird little ecosystem of racist old boomers listening to audible bullshit mixed with propaganda and cultural appropriation.
Bro, what the
Speaking
fuck?
of that ecosystem of Republican rap grifters, sometime recently, either this year or last year, that bubble popped. I've definitely seen a lot of right-wing stuff get pushed on social media these days, especially this type of music. But the thing is, this shit is getting a lot of pushback from mainstream hip-hop. Dax and Tom McDonald are also included in the group of people that fall under burger music. And whether people realize it or not, they're pushing back against right-wingers trying to push their agenda through hip-hop. People make fun of this shit into oblivion, and me personally, it's good to see that the world understands why this type of stuff is problematic. Now, you might be asking yourself, well, if all this burger music is so bad, why give it any attention? That's a
Alright, well, I spent 30 minutes of my life just talking about some burger music, so we're gonna end it right here. But hey, should Squid the Kid, that was a W video. Make sure to sub to the channel, on the Discord, you already good. It's Geek Cars Social out.